Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode number 41. A few topics on today's show. I want to talk about Allen Ginter, follow up to yesterday's show, a mail day from Lauren in Colorado, and I found some surprisingly awesome, and by awesome, I mean worth more than I expected cards during my sort last week. So I'll show off one of those. So let's get started. Mail Day received a package from Lauren in Colorado. Now, Lauren told me that it was going to be a blue package, and blue it is. Look at that. Look at how blue that package is. I love it. It really stood out in the mailbox. So 178 Cubs cards from Lauren. Show off a couple of my all-time favorites, the 89 Tops, Ty Griffin, the 1990 score, Earl Cunningham, back-to-back first-rounders. Unfortunately, neither made the bigs, and always loved these. This is from Topps Heritage, uh, from the 58 Topps design, the All-Stars, Alfonso Soriano. Beautiful card. Those were beautiful All-Stars from 1958 Topps. So 178. Oh, there's more. There was a larger cardboard. So what was in that? My first 1971 Top Super. And somebody actually reached out to me on Twitter a couple days ago and asked me, have you ever come across these? Do you know what these are? The answer is yes, I know what they are. No, I don't have any in my collection until now. Thanks, Lauren, providing me with a 1971 Top Super. It's Fergie Jenkins, one of my favorites. I've been able to meet him a couple times. Great guy. Fergie Jenkins, 71 Top Super, now a part of the Cubs collection. And with that mail day, the total Cubs count is now over 490,000. Just over 490,004 is the Cubs count as of this morning, September 10th, 2020. 490,004 Cubs cards in the collection. Now, last week, I was doing some sorting, pulling some cards for trades. I was behind on some teams, so I wanted to get some of those teams boxed up, ready for potential future trades. And there's always a few teams that I'm always sorting, either because I have a big trade coming up or that there's always people looking for those teams. So every once in a while, I'll splay out on the rec room floor and just do a multi-day sort. It actually, I had some friends over this past weekend, and so I had to actually clean up everything on Wednesday of last week. But then by Saturday, the floor was a tornado room once again. So during the sort, I pulled some boxes that I haven't pulled in a while. I have a card closet next to me, next to this room, that's just completely full. And over the winter, I actually pulled a lot of stuff out, went through the boxes, just pulling any cards that superstars, and I think some teams that I was looking for at that time. So behind me, there's some boxes that I haven't really gone through in some time, probably a year or more. I pulled out some of those boxes, was pulling some various teams, was also consolidating boxes because that's always key to put more Cubs cards in, and found some basketball cards, which in some of the collections I've acquired over the last few years, I typically don't even go through the basketball cards or really football or hockey either. I just kind of set them in a box. Sometimes I will go, if they're sleeved, I'll go through and I'll maybe put them aside and put them in like a stars box and come back later. I did not realize some of the value in like 90s inserts, for instance, and the prices on recent Prizm. So in last week's sort, there were about 5 or 6 Prizm cards in penny sleeves. No big names that I thought of. Kyle Singler, who I remembered from Duke. There was a Perry Jones. There was a Bradley Beal. And so I didn't know if there's no rookie mark, but I looked on the back of the Bradley Beal card and it has his Florida Gators stats. So, well, this must be a rookie card. It's Prizm. They seem to be pretty hot. Maybe I'll sell it for $3 or $4. That was like $3 was like, I'd love to get $3 for this card. Otherwise, they're probably 99 cents free shipping in my eBay store. Fortunately, I did some comp searches since I'm unfamiliar with the basketball market. Had to run some comps, and I was shocked at the Bradley Beal prices. So I put this baby up for $75, and it sold in about 30 minutes. $75 in a random box. I was very happy with the results on that. It'll help me recoup some cost of the case of Allen Ginter I bought. I talked yesterday about Topps teasing Allen Ginter. They've rolled out some names that I like how they have rolled out the non-sports, or I should say the non-baseball names. They initially announced some big names, the women's soccer stars, Alex Morgan, Brianna Scurry, and Megan Rapinoe. So they rolled out those names, and then they rolled out some names that, in fact, I had to Google a couple. Maria Pepe, who played Little League Baseball a long time, like 50 years ago. The Baseball Brit, who I am familiar with on Twitter. So they announced some of those names, and then they came back up with a big name like Spike Lee. And then after Spike, they announced some, second tier names. And then yesterday, after the show that I recorded yesterday, they did announce another one, Andy Cohen. And then there was another one last night that I did not recognize the name. So the checklist will be released tomorrow. So I'm hoping at some point today that another big name will be announced, because usually there's a few, I would say, A-listers to the checklist for non-baseball. So I'm hoping ahead of the checklist announcement, they'll make a big announcement for a big name. That's the hope, because I did end up pre-ordering a case of 2020 Allen Ginter. Now, this is a case where the pricing on Hobby has been crazy all 2020. In fact, for most releases, it's been crazy since the second half of 2017, really, and they've really skyrocketed since then. So I didn't even bother looking at pre-sale prices for Allen Ginter leading up to yesterday. I was expecting pre-sale cases to be around the $2,000 mark, which for a price comparison, I know I looked at 2017. I paid like $975 for a case in 2017, and then I bought a second one for I think $1,050. So 2018, 2019, I think case prices were a little higher. I think maybe $1,250 is what I paid. So I would pay a little more than that, but I wasn't going to go up to $1,800 or $2,000. So when I went to Blowout first, I was surprised that their pricing was around, I think, $1,625. They also have a coupon code where if you spend over $1,000, it's a $50 off coupon. So that gets the price down to $1,575. I looked, there's a couple other spots that have competitive pricing. Diamond Cards Online. It's a card shop in Quincy, Illinois. They come up on Google search pretty high in the results. They usually match Blowout pricing. They were also listed at $1,575, which is what you would get at Blowout after the discount. And then I went to, I think, Dave & Adams, and their price without any coupons or sales was $1,535. And then you get a free gift. So I ended up ordering a case from DA Card World. Got my free gift, I think 10 packs of like Panini basketball stickers for 2019, 2020, which isn't too much. I looked at eBay and there wasn't much. They had like penny sleeves as a free gift and some other stuff. They didn't have anything I wanted, so I chose the basketball stickers. So put my order in because my expectation is The closer you get to release, the higher the price on the pre-sale. And I didn't want to wait any longer because the checklist will be released tomorrow. And if any big names are announced, today, or even like last night or today or Friday morning, those prices, all the retailers will see that and raise prices accordingly. So I figured 1535 is a price I want. It's not going to be any cheaper. The prices won't drop, so I might as well get in. It's a good price from what I thought. It's going to be hard to make any profits selling off, the non-Cubs. But for me, Allen Ginter is more than that. This is more of a this is definitely a hot. So Ben Baller tops Chrome last week. That was completely a flip. I bought that to flip, and I did. And hopefully that sale stands. Allen Ginter is the opposite. It's completely a hobby. If I lose $500 in selling off cards, I don't care, because it's all about the fun in opening. I love the randomness of the cards. I used to hate it, but now I love it. I pulled a shark tooth a couple years ago. 2015, I bought a half case, loose boxes, and I pulled probably the biggest hit I've ever pulled, and it was a booklet autograph relic of Mike Piazza and Ken Griffey Jr. They were both going into the Hall of Fame that year. So that was a huge hit. I think it was numbered to 10. That was fun. I pulled a Wilson Contreras framed auto a couple of years ago. So, some of the pulls, they stick with me. And there's personal reasons that I've blogged about. There was the time in 2017 that Allen and Ginter was released the week of my wedding. On Wednesday, my box was delivered, but it was signature required. I was at work. I had planned a long lunch to be home to accept the package. And of course it was delayed and I had to get back to the office. UPS did not ring my door. My wife was home. UPS did not ring the doorbell. They just knocked. So my wife didn't hear it. I had to end up going to the UPS. They only had like a 2-hour window, and it was between like 6 and 8 p.m. Well, it was the week of our wedding. We had family dinner reservations. It was my wife's grandma's like 98th birthday. So we were going out to dinner. So it's like, well, we're gonna have to redeliver it the next day. A tornado. As we were at the restaurant, we had to skip dessert because the tornado sirens went off. There was a tornado warning for our county. So we had to race to take grandma and grandpa back to their place. And we were about a mile from the UPS place, and it was within the time frame. I convinced my wife to make the extra 1 mile drive in the pouring down rain to pick up my case of Allen and Ginter. It was a huge storm that night. I was in my basement. My dog got scared, so my wife had to come down, and I was opening Allen and Ginter, 3 days before our wedding. So that's always a fun story about Allen and Ginter. Lost a lot of money on those cases, and that at that time I was flipping. I was just buying Allen and Ginter to flip, and since I had all the wedding stuff going on, I didn't have time to break and list, so I was way behind and lost out on some money in sales. So now it's just a hobby for me. It's fun. The case will hopefully be delivered next Friday. It releases on Wednesday. So hopefully I'll get it at some point Friday. So I may even take the afternoon off Friday to rip open some 2020 Allen and Ginter and have some fun next weekend, going over my hits. And yes, I will be listing and selling pretty much everything except Cubs on eBay. I'll probably pull a few things aside depending on what they are, for trades and such as well. So that's all for today. Again, the Cubs count 490,000 for Cubs cards. Thanks to Lauren in Colorado. for that cool stuff. Zach's in the chat room. Thanks for tuning in. I think Zach watches every morning. That's awesome. Zach says the prices you list are so foreign to me as a junk wax collector. Yeah, the me too. I thought the Bradley Beal was a $2 card. I was going to list these at 99 cents, and I was shocked at $75, and it sold. The other ones, Singler and Jones, they did sell. Like, I think out of the 6 that I had, I think 4 of them sold. The Beal, obviously, the most. The other ones sold for like between $3 and $5 each. So it was a pleasant surprise last night when I was listing some of that stuff. Basketball has sneaky value, which has been fun going through some of these boxes. So that is all for today. Coming up today, Thursday, my Walmarts are stocked typically, so I may make a run to Walmart either at lunch or after work today, just to check out what's released, because I'm still looking for Stadium Club. Target did have, I got the notification, Target had some of the packs in stock yesterday on the app. I put some in my cart, ended up not buying. I don't know why. I had them in my cart and I'm like, I'll pass. So I guess if I see them in the store, I'll buy them, but Stadium Club's it doesn't really do it for me, but I do love the photography. And I do like opening, a couple blaster boxes. So if I do find some in the store, I will pick them up. So that's on the docket for today. I'll be back again tomorrow morning. Thanks for tuning in. As always, follow me on Twitter at 1millioncubs and visit the website 1millioncubs.com. Have yourselves a great Thursday.